kind of focus in on the matches that you're most interested in and the things that really stand out to you. So I do like them doing that. They do an excellent job of that. And we've got tonight Andrade versus Darby Allin. That's going to be in a coffin match. We've got CM Punk taking on Dustin Rhodes, which should be fun. Two legends going at it. We got Britt Baker taking on Danielle Kamela. I don't know who this is, but apparently this is in the Owen Hart tournament, foundation tournament. So Danielle Kamela. I mean, look, if she calls her name Danielle Kamala and she comes down with the mask and the spear and the tribal music, then I'm into the girl. But I don't think she is going to be Danielle Kamala, unfortunately. So, yes, let down. Then we've got Jungle Boy taking on Kyle O'Reilly. That is also in the Owen Hart Tournament Foundation. Then we've got Wardlow against The Butcher. You might remember that was announced. Was it last week? Where MJF said he was going to find an opponent for Wardlow, and he found The Butcher. I must admit, I think he could have found someone a bit more challenging than The Butcher. I think if this is MJF's, devious plan, is that I'm going to put you in a match with The Butcher, just imagine Wardlow's laughed himself to sleep every night of the week, but I think it was Tony Schiavone on commentary that said, don't for 1 second think that it'll only be The Butcher. So I did like that comment. I think it was Tony, did a good job there of just saying, don't think it's only going to be The Butcher. Don't think it's going to be only that simple. So we'll see what MJF has got in store there. Hook is making his AEW Dynamite debut. So we will be seeing Hook tonight. I do feel like a little bit of the hype of Hook has settled down. I don't think that feud with QT Marshall was maybe the right thing to do. He was beating people, looking great, and then he went in that feud with QT Marshall and does feel like a bit of the hype train kind of slowed down. It's certainly still there. Hype train is still going, but maybe not at the same speed that it was. And I hope they can get it back up to that speed, and maybe we do that tonight. And then, of course, Big Tony Khan, and that, not Big Tony Khan, although that's probably what he wants people to call him, but Tony Khan big announcement. That's going to be tonight. We've got the poll on that. What do you think the Tony Khan announcement's going to be? I've put down the 3 things I've heard it could be, and then I've put down a little other. I suppose I've worded it, what do you want it to be? Because I think what do you think it's going to be and what do you want it to be are very different questions. And I think it's quite interesting, what do you want for Tony Khan to announce tonight? What would please you? What do you want from the announcement tonight? So I went that way instead. I don't know what the announcement's going to be. I think if someone had a gun to my head right now, I would say New Japan AEW Super Show. That just seems to be the one that's got the loudest noise around it, but it's far from guaranteed. So the 3 options that are put down was a new Ring of Honor broadcasting deal, which would make sense because he's just bought Ring of Honor. We don't know quite what he's going to do with it. We don't know quite where we're going to see it. We don't know quite when it's bursting back into life. So some information on that would make a lot of sense. And that was his last big announcement, Ring of Honor. So this would be a follow-up on that, saying, here's the next stage. Next stage is that we've got a TV deal. And it's going to be, Wednesdays, or probably not Wednesdays, but Thursdays or whatever it might be. On this station or on this platform. So it could be something to do with Ring of Honor. The other thing it could be is an AEW streaming deal. That would be huge for AEW if they could get onto some kind of platform to put their back catalogue on there. Right now they've got stuff living on Fight, but I don't know what the arrangement is with Fight, in all fairness. And I don't even know if their arrangement with Fight just covers the kind of current shows. I don't know that it covers all the back catalogue. I think if they want to move that back catalogue somewhere, like a Netflix or a Disney Plus or an ESPN Plus or one of these billion streaming services, They could do that, and that would be quite interesting to have the back catalogue living somewhere. They're not going to clearly not going to move from their TV deal until that expires. So they didn't move in Dynamite or Rampage. I don't think they're going to be moving their pay-per-views. They clearly got a deal with Fight. And I think they got a deal with Bleacher Report. So I can only imagine it's the back catalogue stuff. I must say, for all of the options, I'd say that's the least likely, just because it feels like the most messy. But that would be big if they could get onto another platform, and, I think that would be great for them. The one that I think is probably most likely is the New Japan AEW show, which, as I said at the time, I'm a little bit split on, because I kind of think that some of those New Japan stars just hasn't really quite landed. Like, the Suzuki matches have been fine, but I don't think they've been amazing, mind-blowing, incredible. And I certainly don't think they've been bringing in any extra views. So I feel like you've got to really get that right. You've got to really get that card right and really promote, get behind it. And I think that they could do a great job with it. But, yeah, I would want to obviously see more detail on it. If it is going to be, we're going to do a big show with... I would want to obviously see more detail on it. If it is going to be, we're going to do a big show with New Japan, and we're going to do it in California or something. I mean, that would be great for California. Be great for everyone that watches AEW and New Japan. But you're going to have to really go some to get the casual viewers interested in that. It's hard enough to get the casual viewers interested in AEW. I mean, right now, they're still bobbing under that million mark. So, a super show with New Japan, I think, hits the hardcore audience. I don't know what it does for the casual audience. The challenge would be to really connect with them. And that's going to take quite a bit of work. So I'm interested to see if that is the announcement, how it's presented, where the show's being held, when do we find out about the cards. Like, I think all of that follow-up detail is super, super, super important. So Chicago would be good, wouldn't it? It's always passionate crowds. Would probably make sense to go there. I think Philadelphia is quite good. I was just thinking California, because I think, doesn't that tend to have quite a good wrestling fan base as well over on the West Coast? So, don't know. But maybe shout out Chicago or something like that. Probably be favourite. That's where they did All In, wasn't it? So maybe it would be there, but let's wait for the announcement first, shall we? Let's wait for the announcement first. Heather said, could you imagine Okada against Danielson? Be great. To be honest, if I could handpick anything, I would do Zack Sabre Jr., Danielson, just because I think there's a ready-made story there. That story being that Danielson has got an award in the Wrestling Observer named after him, the Bryan Danielson, most technical wrestler award. And the reason why he's got that is because when he was in Ring of Honor, he kept winning it year after year after year after year after year. And they just got to the point where they named the award after him. And I remember when he left WWE, he was saying that one of the matches he's most interested in is Zack Sabre Jr. The reason being because Zack Sabre Jr. has been winning the Bryan Danielson Awards for the past few years. And Danielson was like, imagine having an award named after you that you're not even winning, even though you are competing. Like, you're not even good enough to win the award named after you. So this guy has been winning the award, and I think he's won it a fair few times, Zack Sabre Jr. And so Danielson says that he wants that match. The guy who's got the award named after him against the guy that's been winning it whilst Danielson's been doing the WWE style of wrestling, which very, very rarely leads to 5-star matches, certainly from Dave Meltzer. Whilst he's been kind of doing the WWE sports entertainment stuff, Zack Sabre Jr. has been winning that award named after him. So I would like to see that match. I mean, for this first one, him against Okada would, make sense as well. You're talking about arguably the two best wrestlers in the world. I don't know how Okada stacks up against Ospreay and Zack Sabre Jr. in 2022. I would say Okada, to me, feels bigger. I would say Okada is still the mountaintop in New Japan, in my mind. And I would think in a lot of people's minds as well. But, so yeah, it would make sense. And you could always do the Zack Sabre Jr. match, somewhere down the road. I suppose it doesn't have to be this first time, but that would be actually, because of him saying that in that interview, that would be the match that I'd be really looking for, is him against Zack Sabre Jr. I must admit, I would not be against a Mega Ricardo again. I really wouldn't. I mean, that's kind of like, this generation's Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat. So to see that one more time, I kind of think that if you are going to really go big, then, maybe that's the match to do, a Mega Ricardo. There's a lot of people, that got into AEW once AEW, started. They weren't into these superstars when they were in Japan. There's a lot of kids and a lot of people that have come along since AEW began. And not like, Kenny in Japan and Young Bucks over in Japan and, kind of where we were to where it is now. And I just think that, I suppose in a way it's a bit like Stone Cold coming back and having a match. A lot of people thinking they would never see it live, never see it again. And then it happened at WrestleMania. I think to get a Mega Ricardo one more time. I mean, might it not live up to expectation? Sure, because it's a flipping high bar. But, God, yeah, I would love to go that way. I think I would go that way. I think I would do that, and then I'd do Zack Sabre Jr., Danielson. But this is what I'm saying. I think if it is going to be a super show, those are the names that have to be involved. They had those, and I'm sure they would be. For him to come out and make an announcement like this, I've got to think that he's got access to anyone and everyone. Naito, Takahashi, Tanahashi. Yo and Sho are not together anymore, are they? Which is a real shame, because I used to love Roppongi 3K. Whenever I watched them, I thought they were just such a wonderful tag team. I would absolutely have had them on the cards. But I think they've gone their separate ways now. My New Japan knowledge is not very good these days, because I don't watch it. I mean, New Japan are just a nightmare when it comes to trying to stream. And honestly, if I'm not streaming it, there's a really good chance I'm not watching it, because I'm probably doing something else instead. So yeah, my New Japan knowledge isn't brilliant. So if it is to be a super show, it'll be really interesting to see what the card is and see who they're really pushing at the moment and where we go. Days, Danielle Kamela is Vanessa Bourne from WWE. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Hello. James, hello. Are you excited for Dr. Britt Baker return tonight? I like Britt Baker. I'm interested to see it, but she's going up against Danielle Kamela. It's not really a match that's, crazy or anything. I don't know who this girl is. I'm expecting Britt Baker to win this quite comfortably. So, maybe if it was Britt Baker against Thunder Rosa, the rematch, then yes, I would be more into it. But, yeah, do you know what I mean? It's always good to see Britt Baker. Dort Knight said, I've got a serious question. How do we compare viewing audiences when one is PG and one is full of blood? Surely AEW is handicapped, assuming that parents are responsible. To be honest, you see kids in the crowd. I really don't know how many parents are preventing their kids from tuning in. And don't forget as well, the way that it's all worked out is still really antiquated. So I think the way it's done is that there are families that agree to having boxes in their homes, and then they are used as a sample size. So, for example, when we do a poll, once we get to around 200 to 300 votes, we've done this. I've done this time after time after time. Once you get to about 200 to 300 votes, the results are largely the same as when you get to about 20,000 votes, because you've got enough of a sample size to get an idea as to what people are thinking. And so the same, I think, is said when it comes to TV ratings. You've got enough of a sample size to know what the wider population is watching. So I wouldn't really get too down into the minutiae, because you can also argue that AEW caters to a different audience to WWE. So, WWE is clearly very PG and aims at a PG audience. which might actually, and has, turned off a lot of the adults. This is why a lot of the, dare I say, older wrestling viewers tend to move over to AEW. You know, I would say that WWE caters to family entertainment and caters to a younger demographic and caters to people that have grown up with that product. You do get adults watching WWE, of course, myself included, but I think you probably got into it when you was a kid. I don't think that many adults are tuning into wrestling on a Monday night going, wow, this is amazing, and then sticking with it. I think that wrestling has got for WWE, a massive nostalgia effect. I mean, I pop when I see a picture of Dusty Rhodes, you know, and we're talking about the Rhodes family, and we're, you know, doing the Andrade Battle Royal, and we're talking about Bruno Sammartino, or, do you know what I mean? Like, that whole history plays a massive part. With AEW, they aim a little older. There's still things that, you know, you can say cater to kids a little. You know, like your Danhausens and your Orange Cassidy in particular. You know, you see kids dressing up in the front row as Orange Cassidy, giving the thumbs up. You know, I've seen a lot of kids doing the lazy thumbs up and everything. So they've definitely got things that resonate with kids, but I would say they aim for that older demo. You know, they aim for that key demo of 18 to 49. So, I mean, like, to be honest, I don't really care about the ratings. It's not something that I even look for anymore. I think when it was on the same night as NXT, and NXT, I think, is maybe a little bit older, or was older in its focus. I think that was a borderline interesting war, if you will, but it was very one-sided. AEW kept winning. And now that since they've moved, I'm not bothered anymore. I don't care. So I think the answer to that would be that, listen, TV shows get compared on their ratings. Do you know what I mean? How do you compare a news program on a Wednesday night to AEW? How do you compare the basketball to WWE? How do you compare Ghostbusters to Scooby-Doo? Well, you just have to, don't you? You just have to compare the numbers that the people that are tuning in, the amount of people that are tuning in, the demo. This is where the demo can get a little bit. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause I just don't think WWE massively try for that 18 to 49 demo. Certainly not with the same effort that AEW do. So when AEW are, you know, screaming about the fact they've smashed the demo and they're better than Raw and everything, I just genuinely don't think that's a massive focus for WWE. I think WWE have got a product that definitely pitches to a more family-orientated. They want that demo, of course, but they also want the kids. They want the kids demo. They've always gone for that kids demo. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, you would never say to a Scooby-Doo cartoon, like, you know, oh, you don't do very well in the 18 to 49 demo. Oh, God, have you seen that Teletubbies program? It hasn't done very well in the 18 to 49. Like, I don't know, some of it can be a bit... But this is why, like, what's the point? What's the point in getting to these kind of conversations? Like, just let the virgins deal with that. Anna says, I can't sleep, so I might as well watch with you guys. Well, welcome. We are 12 minutes away from AEW. I would imagine that Tony Khan's announcement will probably open the show. I would imagine that it will probably open the show. It did last time. So, yeah, we will see. We'll find out in 12 minutes what opens it. I don't know if that was the right thing to do or not, actually. Starting with the Tony Khan announcement. I kind of feel like that's a massive draw for tonight's show. It's a big thing. You'd think, like, it probably makes sense to do it linking hour 1 into hour 2. Do you know what I mean? Like, Tony Khan walks out at the end of hour 1 and the announcement's done at the start of hour 2. You would think that would probably make a bit more sense. But, I don't know. They did it at the start last time, so we'll see if they do it at the start. This time. Days, the announcement is that Tony Khan is deleting his Twitter, says Chicken Nugs. Philip said, why did you stop streaming NXT? We spoke about that quite a bit, to be honest. So, once more, it's a case of I need time to do videos. I desperately want to get videos onto the channel. And I've come to the realization there's just no way of doing it with our current streaming schedule. I cannot stream the amount of stuff that we're streaming and get videos onto the channel. Can't do it. I've tried to do it for so long, and I'm just not getting where I need to get to. So, things have to be tweaked and changed, and I'm constantly reviewing everything that we do to try and find the best balance. I think that's the better way of wording it. The balance wasn't quite right. So I'm hoping this will result in a better balance. Richard said, Khan owns MLW. He's going to announce that to open the show. Haven't heard that. That would be out of left field. Asib said, are you doing Burnley Southampton tomorrow? No. Our next football stream is on Sunday. Big T said, how much do you want to bet Kenny Omega is going to make the announcement? I don't think so, because it's Tony Khan's big announcement. So unless it is the New Japan Super Show and Tony Khan says, this is something that I really feel that Kenny should deliver, then, But to be honest, I don't know. I think Tony Khan will announce it. AEW and Ring of Honor is not fun anymore and have got low ratings. Impact is doing fine. Tony Khan is not going to buy them, says James. Big T said, it's only a matter of time before WWE goes full Disney on ice. Can't wait to get Bootio flavoured snow cones. If I'm lucky, I might just be able to get a Selena tiara of a... I don't even know what that means. What's a Selena tiara? Or a Selena tiara. Right, okay. Or a Kamela face mask. Besides Tony Khan's huge announcement, there is rumours of Bret Hart tonight, says Sean. Okay. I mean, we have seen him on the show before. He actually unveiled the AEW Championship when it was first shown off. So he has been on AEW Dynamite before. Actually, I can't remember if it was Dynamite when it got shown or if it was a pay-per-view. But he's been on AEW before. This wouldn't be the first time we see him. But there's obviously a lot of talk that he's going to be the new manager of FTR and he's going to be connected with them. So I must admit, I am expecting him to come in at some point. I think I would be very surprised if he didn't. There's been, for them to move away from Tully and for this spotlight to now be on them, feels like we are building towards something. I mean, they had an incredible match with the Briscoes. They had a great match against the Young Bucks. It feels like they've got some crazy momentum at the moment. So, I think that we are building to something. And, I would agree. I think that person could be Bret Hart. Bunker said, it's going to be Khan's UK Fulham show. That's interesting. Big T says, don't forget that Bret is going to manage FTR at the Big Time Wrestling event in June. Jeremy said, Bret was with FTR this weekend at a indie show. Sieb said, you're not doing Arsenal Man United. Next stream is Liverpool Everton. Dort Knight said, I find NXT is best to watch with a nice glass of wine, a box of chocolates, the lights dimmed with a few episodes of Only Fools and Horses. Okay. It's so funny. Once WWE is for sale, Vince is a genius. He's going to get paid billions for each brand. Pretty much value up and need to sell. What, you think that Tony Khan's announcement is going to sell AEW? I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. I think it's going to be the Super Show, to be honest. That's what I think he's going to announce, but we will obviously find out very soon. So, if you are just joining us, let's just have a quick run down the card again. Andrade versus Darby Allin in a coffin match. CM Punk taking on Dusty Rhodes. Britt Baker taking on Danielle, Kamela. Jungle Boy taking on Kyle O'Reilly. Wardlow taking on The Butcher. Hook's AEW Dynamite debut. And the Tony Khan announcement. What's happening to Man United, says Gene. Oh, dudes, if you've been joining us on the football streams, we have absolutely gone through everything going on with Man United. I don't feel like this is the right place to have more conversations on them. They just need to have a big summer, don't they? I did actually just read that they are going to give Ten Hag 200 million. That's what I've literally just read. It's on the BBC transfer rumour roundup thing for the day. And they're saying that Ten Hag will get 200 million, which is what he needs. And you could make an argument he needs even more than that, but that's not bad at all. I think getting 200 million is not bad at all, if that is true. So it's come out of the mirror. So take that however you will. Says, incoming Man United boss Erik ten Hag will have 200 million to spend on new signings, with at least 6 first-team players set to leave in the summer. So, the money's got to be there because you've got to replace them. So, would you take Depay back at United? It depends on how much, to be honest. I no would be my initial answer, but if it was going to be something for 10 million or something like that, which it wouldn't, no, I wouldn't. But if it was 10 million and Phil Jones, or 10 million and Pereira, or do you know what I mean? If it was some deal like that to get Depay, then yeah, sure, because it might just box off a striker position for us. You can just put him in a number 9 and forget about it. For a season at least, but Depay for a long-term option, no. He's not playing very well at the moment. Barcelona have really fallen away. 200 is peanuts. Wan-Bissaka costs 50. Yeah, but Wan-Bissaka was massively overpriced, wasn't he? He was massively overpriced. 200 million, you can say that it's peanuts, but they're asking for 60 million for Núñez for a striker. Asking for 60 million for Anthony. That would take you to 120, and you've got two players. I think 30 million for Timber. So that would take you to 150. There's 3 players. Give you about 50 million to get, say you get a right back. So 4 players. 4 players you can get out of that easily. And then I think we need about 5 players this year, so then that means that the players we sell are going to have to generate the extra money to cover that fifth signing. So and who knows, you might be able to even pick up someone for free. I was saying earlier, I think Nketiah at Arsenal becomes free. Be very interesting to see who's free. Rudiger's free in the summer. You could get Rudiger, but he wants Champions League football. So 200 million to spend with some free transfers. If you bring in 4 players and a couple of free transfers, bish bash bosh, do you know what I mean? Lovely stuff. Great work. Thanks for coming. So, it can work. But, I do concede there might have to be a few free transfers thrown in. Right, Matt says the announcement is apparently to do with regulating hat symmetry. I hope he mandates it with an iron fist. Non-compliance should not be tolerated. I don't know how much hat symmetry is a problem for... I don't know how much hat symmetry will be a problem for AEW, to be honest, Matt. I think there's not too many superstars I can think of that wear hats in AEW, so... Whether that's going to be the big announcement or not, we're going to find out. Hat symmetry... you know my feelings on it. Hat symmetry is... very important. Van der Beek will be a decent under Ten Hag, says Martin. Lance says, football bad, let's talk wrestling. Warner to Greedy, they want a one-off payment for TNT TBS, apparently $40.70 a month, and Warner has 5 months. Only CBS is free in America. 2 minutes to go. Do not forget to like me in the team. We are family. Kamel, shout out to you. Right. Here we go. There's people in the fight chat chanting for Hook. Chanting for Hook at the moment. So they want to see his Dynamite debut. That's what the fight chat seem to be excited about. Jim said, would an AEW and NJPW show include Stardom, considering that NJPW does not have a women's division? It's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I would presume that it would. They have used Stardom women on Wrestle Kingdom. So we are starting to see women competing at Wrestle Kingdom. I don't know how much they use Stardom in other big shows like Dominion and whatnot. But yes, I mean, I really can't see it being New Japan. I don't know how many women they would look to use because, honestly, how big are the Stardom women? You know, do you know what I mean? Like from a drawing point of view, like how many people are going to tune in to watch the Stardom women? Like, I would imagine not many. So you'd probably throw a couple of token women's matches on. I know it sounds cruel, but if it is going to be an AEW New Japan Super Show, the truth is New Japan don't have a women's division. So it is going to be male-dominated. But then many people would say that AEW is male-dominated, so it might work out fine. But you're probably going to want to get Jade Cargill on the show, and you're probably going to want to get Britt Baker on there, and Thunder Rosa and whatnot. So I would imagine there'd be at least a couple of women's matches. One probably on the pre-show. Right, here we go then. Is it going to be the announcement? It's CM Punk first. CM Punk. So, yeah, I like this. CM Punk coming out. So it's going to be CM Punk against Dusty Rhodes. I think this is better. I think rather than doing the announcement first, and then that's all we spend the next, hour talking about, let's not do that. Let's have some action and then drop in the announcement later on. So, CM Punk, his record is 16-1. What kind of money do you think Bray is looking for after Meltzer said he wants hefty deal? Interest from WWE and AEW is reported too. Okay, first of all, I have not seen any interest from WWE. I don't know where that's come from. Because that's something that I think will, go around like wildfire. If you can tell me where that's been seen, I would be very interested in reading that. But I've not seen that. I've not seen interest from WWE. In regards to how much, not a clue. I tell you where this story came from. Someone on Twitter asked Dave. What? They asked Dave about were WWE interested in AEW stars, and he said yes. WWE are very interested in big AEW names. And he said, and also vice versa, of course, AEW are very interested in the big WWE names. And then someone jumped in and said, what about Bray? And it was a very quick response from Dave Meltzer. It just said he's asking for a lot of money at the moment. And that was it. So I don't know where any reports are that there's interest from WWE or this is how things spiral out of control. Unless there is a legit report that's come out about that, but I haven't seen it. That is it. Everything I've just told you is everything I know about that situation. So I couldn't put a number on it. I mean, literally, that's all I know. So I have no idea. You'd just be guessing. James said, Dustin is awesome. List of Jericho said, why would WWE be interested in FTR? They're as interesting as a plank of wood. Right, we've got Dustin in the ring. Dustin in there with CM Punk and big CM Punk chants. Dustin looks like Dominic Mysterio when Dominic Mysterio's like in 50 years' time. If Dominic Mysterio gets in 50 years' time, dyes his hair blonde, I feel like this is what he's going to look like. Maybe it's a Dominic Mysterio tribute attire. That'd be nice. Against the ropes goes Dustin. Shoulder tackle. Punk goes down. I like Punk's attire. Punk's got his usual trunks and the stars, and it's pink on black. Hip toss. Kicked by Dustin. Goldust is one of my all-time faves, says Cliff Beavers. Trios. Oh, I didn't see this. Trios tag team action coming up. I didn't see that announced. That looks like Blackpool Combat Club going to be in action. Trios. Let's have a look at that match. Who's in it? Trios. Both fighters back on their feet. Here we go. Blackpool Combat Club against Dante Martin, Lee Moriarty, and Brock Anderson. He's got CM Punk grounded. CM Punk's trying to kick out. There's lots of chanting from the crowds. CM Punk managing to get up. Grabs the legs of Dustin Rhodes. He's going to look for the bow and arrow. Yeah. I can't quite get it. It's a little bit sloppy, and Punk changes it to a pin. Hip toss again by Dustin. Couldn't quite get the bow and arrow. Thank you for live coverage. Can't watch this at the moment, says Varsha. Varsha, shout out to you. CM Punk in control at the moment. Dustin Rhodes down. Crowds definitely very much into this opening contest, which you can understand, as we said, two legends going at it in a bit of an interesting exhibition. It's not a match that really means anything, but it would be interesting if Dustin found the victory over CM Punk, but I don't think any of us are expecting that. Big chop coming in by Dustin. CM Punk back in the corner, gets hurled across to the other side. Dustin charges over, big boot by CM Punk. CM Punk picks up Dustin, and Dustin manages to get back down onto his feet, rolls up Punk, 2. Dustin with another hip toss. AJ Lee could be his manager, says Mike. Tony Khan relies on huge announcements for ratings a bit much. Richard said, what do you think the announcement's going to be? I am leaning to that New Japan AEW Super Show. I think it's been great that it's not been spoiled. Ooh, Dustin hurls himself at CM Punk, and CM Punk drops down. Dustin ends up throwing himself outside the ring. So Dustin just grabbing a hold of his leg. Dustin telling the referee that he's all right. Referee has checked, and he's getting back in to start the count. 1. Now we start at 1. He's already been outside for about 10 seconds. CM Punk gets out, tries to grab Dustin. Why is he going out to check on him again? Dustin getting back in. Referee getting back in. Some of the refereeing is so poor. Kicks coming in. How the hell do you get counted out in AEW? I mean, like, if you get thrown out and you injure yourself, the referee then jumps out, checks that you're all right. I mean, surely the wrestlers can just use that as a tactic. By the time the referee gets back in, you've already been outside for about 10 seconds. Then they start the count. Like, you're going to have to be outside for about 20-odd seconds to get counted out. Pace of this has really, like, fallen away. But, They are kind of building up the drama of Dustin Rhodes' injury. Referee again checking on Dustin Rhodes as CM Punk drags him to the middle. Comes crashing down on the leg. Comes crashing down onto the knee. Are we at commercial break? Elbow drop by CM Punk. The pace of this is quite slow. If you told me we're at commercial break now, I'd be like, oh, okay. The Good Brothers Impact deals are said to be expiring in July 2022 after signing a 2-year deal in 2020. What company do you think they'll land in? I don't think WWE are going to be interested. I can't think that... They didn't do anything when they were there last time. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if AEW might, just because of the kind of Bullet Club background. I don't think WWE will. AEW refs are messy. Tony Khan's big announcement is going to be that there is a new talent signed, and on Rampage, the talent will debut, and during the match, Bray will debut. Ron said, I bet the recap of a Bret Hart match. I bet this is a recap of a Bret Hart match. Dustin coming back. Strikes coming back by Dustin. Dustin, crossbody down goes Dustin. 2, shoulder up by Dustin. Shoulder up by Dustin, and CM Punk is on his knees. We've gone picture in picture. Okay. CM Punk gives the gold dust gesture. Strike coming in by Dustin. And again. CM Punk stomping the middle of Dustin. Gonna go for figure 4, is he? But inside cradle, 2. Kick out. Clothesline there by Dustin, and CM Punk goes down. Good Brothers could go back to New Japan. Jack Evans is leaving AEW at the end of the month, says David. The sheer disrespect from Punk. Ledge Killer, hello, shout out to you. Snapmare by CM Punk. Elbow drop by CM Punk as well. Crowder coming back into the match. I think Punk will turn heel. Mass Chief said Punk is in Heart Foundation colours. He's up and he comes crashing down on the leg of Dustin Rhodes. Cliff Beaver said Punk's booking feels incoherent. It's like they just let him do whatever with no goal in mind. Boxer said, what's your opinion on the new NXT title? I've only seen pictures of it, but from what I've saw, it looks fine. It's not too drastically different, is it? It's just got those colours in the background. Something I've not seen on a belt before, so I find it interesting from that point of view. The NXT titles, I think, have always been all right. I don't think they're the best belts I've ever seen, but I think they're way better than the WWE and the Universal. And the 24/7 and, so on, and the tag teams and so on. So, I don't mind the NXT belts. I think they could be better, but, I would say the colours have been a bit of an improvement, actually. Certainly bring them more in line with where the brand is. Dustin Rhodes on the outside of the ring. I'm sure they forget it's still on Fight when they go to commercial, says James. So Dustin Rhodes is the 6th natural. What does that mean? Bad booking for Punk versus Dustin. AEW got lower ratings. Someone stop this match. Austin said, this is awesome, chance. There was a small "This is awesome" chant breaking out there, yeah. Strike coming in by Punk. Kick coming in by CM Punk. Strikes coming in by Dustin. Against the ropes goes Punk. Dustin ducks underneath. Big back body drop there by Dustin. Punk goes down. Clothesline. Punk goes down again. And another one. CM Punk over in the corner. Dustin climbing up. He's going to fire in some shots. It's long, isn't it? 15 minutes for this first match. I mean, that's probably about right, but feels 15 minutes. Another shot as well. Dustin jumps down and his leg gives out on him. NXT reminds me of a multicolour children's TV show on CBeebies. Erase Your Mind said the crowd is invested. Mike said Wardlow is peeved. The Butcher will get the beating of a lifetime. Master Chief said, I'm all for this match. It's not amazing, but that's because Dustin has been doing this for 40 years. Code red by Dustin. And 2 count. So, code red by Dustin. Dustin down, CM Punk down. Do you think WWE played Good Brothers, got them to sign 5-year deal, then dropped them when the pandemic hit? Do I think they played them? I don't think they played them. I just don't think they were connecting. I just don't think they could get a tune out of them. I mean, that could be WWE's fault from a creative point of view. But I can't say I've seen anything from the Good Brothers. Not that I watch Impact, but certainly when they were on AEW, they didn't do anything for me. So, I don't know. I don't know where the responsibility lies on that, but they weren't working for me in WWE. And when I've seen them on AEW, they haven't really worked for me. I think they were, good in New Japan, and maybe that's where they should head back to. Unless they re-sign with Impact. Or if Tony wants to do like a Bullet Club type thing in AEW. I mean, they'll probably have some options. Kick by CM Punk, chop block. And Dustin goes down. CM Punk charging over. He's looking for that figure 4 and he's going to get it on. Figure 4 leg lock applied. So CM Punk with a figure 4. 1, 2. Dustin with the shoulders down. We're getting to like the 20-minute mark here, aren't we? Perhaps this is going to be like an Iron Man match. What's the time limit on this? Is it half an hour? What if they do a time limit draw? Dustin with strikes coming into CM Punk. They're slapping each other back and forth in the middle of the ring. Dustin isn't Fuego's father. He's Dominic's. They're holding back the announcement. This could be huge, says Shola. Who do you think is AEW's next champion? What, at the top of the cards? It's probably going to be a heel, isn't it? It's probably going to be a heel because Hangman's a face. I think it's really difficult. I mean, you could look at maybe MJF. I don't think that would be the worst shout in the world. Maybe MJF loses the feud with Wardlow and then wins a title match against Hangman. I don't think Kenny will come back and just win the belt back. So, I'm going to lean MJF. 2 great wrestlers in a vapid match of 0 consequence, says Cliff. Felix hello. John said they should have given this time to Kyle O'Reilly and Jungle Boy. Shola said, I think they said the time limit is 20 minutes. Oh, God. CM Punk on the outside. Jumps up, springboard, comes crashing down. Straight to the midsection by Dustin. Dustin looking. Crossroads by Dustin Rhodes. Pile driver. Pile driver. 1, 2. Shoulder up by CM Punk. So, Crossroads into a pile driver, and CM Punk kicks out. Matt said, I no longer compare AEW to WWE anymore. I now see both good and bad in both companies. What would you say are both companies' strong and weak points? Jeez. God, talk about a hell of a question. I mean, I think that WWE really lack creativity at times. I think that their storytelling is not where it needs to be. I think they really struggle to build new stars. I think they have got a few people through, like Bianca Belair. You can always find an exception to the rule, but just think of the amount of talent that's come through and been wasted. So, you know, I think I always look creativity at, you know, some of the god-awful segments we've had to sit through. CM Punk getting the pin. I think their strength is that they always do enough, just enough, to keep you coming back. Like, they don't just churn out awful show, like awful show after awful show, and then awful pay-per-view, and then an awful Raw, and then an awful SmackDown. There will always be, like, a return. There will always be a moment. Do you know what I mean? That people, like, look at Cody coming back at WrestleMania, or look at WrestleMania as a whole. Like, that completely reinvigorated everyone towards WWE. So I think that, you know, they'll have bad shows after, but you're still living off the fumes of WrestleMania. And then, you know, there's been a few things since. I actually thought the post WrestleMania Raw was all right. I thought Raw this past week was all right as well. I gave this past week 7.25. I think I gave the Raw after WrestleMania 7.5. I stand by those. I think there was some good stuff on them. But I would say this is actually a good patch for WWE with WrestleMania and then those couple of Raws after. I think you could go back during the pandemic era and it was pretty dark at times. It was hard to find positives. So, yeah, I'd say that's the good and bad points. For AEW, I think that they have got a very passionate fan base. I think that they really do try to stack the shows. I think that there's a lot of hot-shotting. I think they try to make every show feel massive and make every show feel big, which I do applaud them for. But we were talking about this last week. You can't have everything feeling big. If everything feels big, nothing feels big. And that's a bit of a problem. Like, it's hard. Do you know what I mean? It is that you do have to have some slow moments and you have to build things up as well. Here's Hangman. Hangman's come out. CM Punk getting the win. Hangman comes out and he stares at CM Punk. But I think what AEW do a good job of is, you know, let's bring in CM Punk. Let's bring in Keith Lee. It constantly feels like there's something happening. It constantly feels like it's moving forward all the time. Let's put it that way. I think they're very good at that. Very good at constantly moving forward. And, you know, I'd say some of the stuff they've been doing recently is some of their best stuff. Because their roster's been improving all the time. CM Punk face-to-face with Hangman Adam Page will excite a lot of people. Wardlow is here. saying Wardlow's got to wear handcuffs. Why? Why has he got to wear... I don't understand. I'm pretty sure if he went to a tribunal, he could get out of that contract. Right, here is Blackpool Combat Club. Would you take Darwin Núñez at United's? Yeah, I would. I think he's about 60 million. Moriarty, Dante, and Brock. Yeah, I think it's about 60 million. If you could get him for that price, you know, look, if United have got 200 million to spend, I think that would be a pretty good investment. That was a bit dumb. Why is he leaving his bag? If they're going to do the match, they should turn Punk heel. They already started by having him come out of the heel tunnel tonight, says Tyler. Finally, Yuta with a new attire. Let's go, said LT. So, Wheeler Yuta coming out. Jon Moxley coming through the crowds. Moxley with a Blackpool Combat Club top on. So we've got Danielson, and I do like the Yuta ring gear. It's like white, and is that like blood splatter down the side in red? And I think it says BCC on the side, written in blood. Which is clever, because that's what he wrote it in blood, didn't he? When he faced Moxley. And now his ring gear is white tights with blood down the side, and the BCC is kind of written into it. I like those tights. That's a good look for him. That's how you do a bow and arrow. But Dante Martin lands on top of Wheeler Yuta. Yuta going back against the ropes. I think it would be quite nice, actually, if Moxley and Danielson all wore something similar. Like, I think that Danielson could wear white trunks with that kind of blood splatter thing on. I think that would look... I think it'd look good if they were, like, uniformed in that. So I like that. I think that's good. I think that's good. It's quite unique. I don't think he needs Yuta written across his backside, though. Like, we know who he is. I think just sometimes, I said this with Keith Lee, I think you can do a bit too much on tights. I think you just need, like, even if it was just white tights with the blood splatter on the one side and it said BCC, that would probably be enough. But he's got it on both sides and he's got Yuta written across his backside. So, if I was advising him, I'd say you maybe don't need as much on them, but it's good. It is good. Drop kick by Dante, and another drop kick again. Tag, in comes Brock Anderson. I like Brock Anderson's gear as well. Very old school. White boots and kind of really nice coloured attire. Very Arn Anderson. Over in the corner goes Moxley. Brock Anderson going after him. Oh, man. That ring gear is so like his dad. Hangs him out on that top rope. Imagine those tights in black with the red blood, says LT. I like the BCC added a woman. Marina Shafir would be a good fit, says Jim. Yeah, definitely. Legit, isn't she? I mean, former MMA fighter. Yep, I don't mind that at all. What I like about Marina Shafir being added is that she is someone that needs it as well. She's like Wheeler Yuta. Like, he really needed Blackpool Combat Club. I mean, like, what a spotlight this is for him. For him to be standing side by side with Moxley and Danielson. Like, that's great for Wheeler Yuta. Marina Shafir to be in this group as well, and to be coming down to the ring with William Regal, doing, like, you know, some of the talking for her. Yeah, brilliant. I mean, she's legit. Still to come, we got the coffin match. Dante Martin is attacked by Wardlow. Then Samoa Joe will rescue Martin. Too many Brocks and Bronze in pro wrestling, says Cliff. Tag, in comes Moxley. Lots of quick tags here by Blackpool Combat Club. Against the ropes goes Brock Anderson. Knee strikes coming in. Imagine how over they would be if you went to Blackpool. If you went to Blackpool here in the UK, which is where we've done some NXT takeovers, NXT UK takeovers. Imagine if you did the Winter Gardens in Blackpool. Same venue where they did the UK Championship Tournament, where they did NXT UK Blackpool takeover. Get that building. It's nice, ballroom. It's a pretty cool venue. Probably not going to hold the thousands and thousands and thousands that you would want for AEW, though. That's the only thing. It's not really, it's not an arena. So maybe it'd be a touch below. I don't think there is an arena in Blackpool, to be honest. I don't think you could. There must be something for big shows, though, in Blackpool. Let's have a look. I'm going to have a look. Blackpool Arena. Blackpool Arena. Pleasure Beach Arena. Pleasure Beach? The arena at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Well, how many can that hold? Blackpool Arena capacity. Here we go. Well, do you know what, actually? That's interesting. The football stadium, Blackpool Football Stadium, that can hold 16,600. So if you actually did Blackpool Football Stadium, then with seating on the ground as well, you'd be pushing 20,000 if you hired Blackpool. That's interesting as well. There is an arena in the fairground, like, so on Blackpool you've got loads of things. It's a kind of a tourist place, and there's a theme park at the one end that's got roller coasters and everything. There's an arena in there that can hold 2,500. It's not many though, is it? It's not really AEW numbers. You'd probably be, I mean, if you was going to go to that effort, you'd probably have to go to the football ground and do it there. I don't think, just out of interest, I want to look and see what Winter Gardens is. I think, not much. Winter Gardens capacity. We've got Lee Moriarty in there. Winter Gardens is 3,500. So 3,500 inside the Winter Gardens. Again, it's not enough, is it? It would have to be the football stadium. I actually went to Blackpool to see some bare knuckle matches, says Malik. Blackpool's good. I mean, it's weird because if you went back to the 1920s, 1930s, it was rocking. It was the place. Like, not only that, like 50s and 60s, like this is where the families went in the UK. They went to Blackpool. You know, the arcades are there. There's a theme park there. There was a wooden roller coaster. It was like, I don't know, Coney Island type thing. That's what Blackpool is. But as flights have gotten cheaper and more... Oh, nice. Nice by Dante. He really had to catch his balance there, but did a moonsault, springboard moonsault, got caught by Moxley. But yeah, his flights have got cheaper. It's probably you can spend the same amount of money and go to Spain now here in the UK. If If you live in the UK, flights to Spain aren't that much. Flights to Poland, I think I got a flight to Poland for like 60 quid. Something like that. Like, honestly, it's not much. You get a return for like 120. I mean, obviously, it's just, get on the plane, nothing, no entertainment, no free drink, no, it's just get on the plane type thing. But, I mean, this was a few years ago now. About 10 years ago. It's probably gone up. Probably cost me 200 now return or something. But, yeah, for that kind of money, you can be in a different country with warmer weather. So, as that's kind of come in, going to Blackpool has kind of gone down in popularity, but still a good place to go. You can still have a fun weekend there if you're in the UK. Blackpool Combat Club have got the job done. Right, we're backstage with Young Bucks, Red Dragon, and Adam Cole. Where's the feisty Young Bucks? You lost to FTR. We lost to the Jungle Losers. We've got to turn this around. The undisputed Elite. As a team, we can't be stopped. Individually, we might have all lost, but as a team, we can't be stopped. Adam Cole's got an idea. Open challenge next week to remind ourselves that as a team, we can't be stopped. Who's going to answer that? I mean, like, it's got to be Dark Order in it. It might be the Jericho Appreciation Society because they're heels. Up next, Wardlow against the Butcher. Scott said, might be an unpopular opinion, but Cole has sucked since going to AEW. Maybe he wanted to be with his mates and wife, but career-wise, it sucked. Lister Jericho said, Undisputed Elite. That is some good writing right there. Butcher is obviously going to lose this. Right, here we go. Let's change this over. Apparently it is Wardlow versus Butcher coming up next. Almost 40 minutes into the show. Wardlow against the Butcher. Dark Orders or Hardys with Sting, etc. Oh, that wouldn't be enough though, would it? Hardys, Sting, and Darby. You still need one more, unless there's someone hanging around with them that I'm forgetting. Is Bray signing? It could be his new group, says Almighty Nick. Or it could just be a bunch of jobbers, says James. Dort Knight said, would you go to an AEW darts event at the Winter Gardens? I can't say I would. I mean, I can't say that I would go to a darts event full stop. Not because I've got anything against darts, but if I did have an evening away from the channel, I can think of quite a few other things that I would do more so than go to a darts event. So, no shade for darts. I know there's many fans of it, but it's not something that I've ever really given much time to. Give me a match that I don't know who will win, said Zoom Station. Los Ingobernables de Japón, says PJ Rogers. What? That's who you think it'll be? I think the United Empire, said Jaden. Right, we are at commercial break. So we are done with CM Punk, Dustin Rhodes, and we are done with Blackpool Combat Club. We've had 2 matches so far. We've got Andrade, Darby Allin. We got Britt Baker against Danielle, Kamela. We got Jungle Boy against Kyle O'Reilly. Wardlow, Butcher next. Hook making his AEW Dynamite debut. And the Tony Khan announcement. Right, as we said, we are at commercial break at the moment. I'm just seeing people speculating as to what Tony Khan's announcement's going to be. Bazman said Tony Khan is going to announce that he has bought Twitter so that he can control the bots. I do like that. It's very good. Right, we are back. Here is Samoa Joe. Satnam Singh. Samoa Joe coming out at Battle of the Belts with a lead pipe. So, are where are we going with this? Are we building to Samoa Joe against Satnam Singh? What I will say is that Satnam Singh seems to get it. He seems to get it. He seems to be better than Amos. Oh! Major announcement time! Here we go. Tony Khan, Tony Khan, Tony Khan, Tony Khan. What the hell have you got to say? Tony Khan, Tony Khan, Tony Khan. Tony. Huge announcement. Got a huge announcement here tonight. Thank you very much. The president of New Japan Pro Wrestling is coming out, which means that it feels like we're heading towards a super show. So the president of New Japan has just come walking out. I think we know where this is going. Whoa, Adam Cole says, whoa, whoa, whoa. The only person that should make an announcement of this magnitude is Adam Cole. June 26th in Chicago. Is it called Forbidden Door? Is it called Forbidden Door? Adam Cole. Cole against Ishii. Okay, so Switchblade's coming out. We've seen Switchblade before. Oh, God, I really thought it was going to be Okada. I thought, like, the Rainmaker was coming out, but it's Switchblade Jay White that's making his way out. So, Jay White has come out. So, it is the Super Show. It's called Forbidden Door. Jay White. He said, last time that we had such a big joint event, I single-handedly sold out Madison Square Garden. It's not about New Japan. It's not about AEW. What's it about? Jay White. This is about the Undisputed Elite and Bullet Club. So does that mean it's going to be Bullet Club next week against... Tony Khan overacting. Right, there we go. Forbidden Door at the United Center. June 26th on pay-per-view. The Super Show has been announced. No idea as to what the match is going to be there, but we did just get to see the graphic for it. Forbidden Door. If I can get the graphic, I'll try. There it is. There it is. There she is. Me drop this on. Bow. There is Tony with the president of New Japan. And here is that graphic for the forbidden. Looks like something from Doctor Who. Looks like Doctor Who's going to be invading AEW. That's what it looks like. It's on June 26th, and it is going to be live on pay-per-view. The other thing they announced as well is, I think on Rampage this week, it's going to be Cole against Ishii as a little taster for what we can expect. No matches have been announced, no ticket information. All of this stuff might be doing the rounds at the moment on AEW social media. I'd imagine all that information is going to come out. But the big announcement has been made, and it is the Super Show. New Japan and AEW, love the name, presents Forbidden Door. Just think of some of the matches that you can get there. I've said before, I would love a Mega Okada again. I think that is maybe this generation's Steamboat Ric Flair. So I would love that match again. But I'm sure that's exactly what people are going to be speculating as to what matches we get at Forbidden Door. But it was, as rumoured, the Super Show is happening. Big, 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 big news. Adam Cole announced himself against Ishii. It's big news, isn't it? I mean, it is a big announcement. It is the announcement that was expected, but that doesn't make it any less significant. I would like the matches, but obviously we're not at the point where we can get to that. Adam Cole Ishii, I don't know if he announced it for the show or if he announced it for Rampage just before as a taster. Wardlow's made his way down to the ring. So Wardlow is getting that handcuffs removed. Forbidden Door. Okay, so Butcher in the ring. And we've got Wardlow in there. He goes to charge over. Strikes coming in by Wardlow. He's biting him now, the Butcher. The Butcher driving Wardlow back. Strikes coming in by Butcher. Wardlow back in the corner. Butcher grabbing the in the boxes with some popcorn. Butcher driving Wardlow back against the side of the ring. Imagine all the matches you could see. Take my money, said Luke. Steamboats and Forbidden Doors will make you go blind. No thanks, said Ernest on purpose. I'm excited that the head of New Japan is in the US and what meetings they might be having. Right, we've got Wardlow chucking Butcher around. So we're just seeing in the stands we've got Sean Spears and MJF. So it went, as I said, it went the way that we thought, but still, interesting. The way they did it was quite weird, with Adam Cole like interrupting on the screen. Puts down his, pulls down his straps. Wardlow and throwing in some big knee strikes. Wardlow with a powerbomb. He's going for the powerbomb and he picks up Butcher and plants him down. Fans want him to do it again as Butcher is down on the floor. Picking him up and again slamming him down. Wardlow going for another one here as well. He's really ragdolling him around. 1, 2, 3, 4 big power bombs by Wardlow. There we go, Wardlow with the win. I don't think that'll be too surprising to anyone. Getting Butcher up for a powerbomb is impressive, says Lee. Right, we've got Wardlow going down the steps. We're still in the first hour, you know. The handcuffs have been reapplied. MJF can't believe that Wardlow was able to deal with the Butcher. I missed an entrance, but Wardlow should come out to music if he isn't signed. Time to go after MJF, said Erase Your Minds. Master Chief said it'll slow down now. The first hour is always hot. Yeah, good. I mean, how are people feeling about that announcement? Are people happy? Are people sad? Did people want something else? Is it a positive thing? Is it what you wanted? don't know. What are people thinking? I mean, I think it'll be a big deal. When I say it'll be a big deal, I mean it'll be a big deal for wrestling fans. I don't know how big of a deal it's going to be for casuals. I think it's going to be a big deal for wrestling fans and hardcore wrestling fans, and certainly people that enjoy watching New Japan anyway. How big of a market that is, though, I don't know. And as I said, it'll be very interesting to see. I expect it to sell out. I expect the tickets to sell out. We know that when Ring of Honor and New Japan did a show at Madison Square Garden, they broke over 10,000 ticket sales. So I expect that show to sell out. AEW is bigger than Ring of Honor, so yeah, I think it'll do well. And could this be the start of an annual thing? Could there be some stories that come out of this and go into the other shows? I don't know. I don't know what it could open out to. Tony is looking desperate and scared, says James. SHS said, I'm new, but I'm very excited for the crossover event. James said the announcement was obvious, but still very excited. It's going to be awesome. Let him in said, I'm excited. Jordan said, is it the weekend before Money in the Bank? That's the beginning of July. June 26th, I mean, I would imagine they've made sure they're not going up against the WWE show, so. Would you stream it if it's a regular fight pay-per-view? It really depends. I mean, look, if it's on a Sunday night, then sure. If it's on a Saturday night going up against, like, some kind of UFC thing, then, probably not. June 26th, what is that? Is that a Sunday? June 26th, 2022. Let's have a look. Right, we are going back to the action. June 26th is a Sunday. June 26th is a Sunday. That's good. Yeah, I would say there's a very, 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 very high chance of us doing it. Yeah, very, very high chance. I mean, to my knowledge, I can't think that there's anything that's going to clash with it. So, Saturday, it would have been a problem. But Sunday, no, looking good. I've not watched AEW. Help me out. I'm confused. How can AEW use the name Owen Hart Tournament? They can use it because that's his name. His name is Owen Hart, and the Owen Hart Foundation, which was set up in his memory, is looked after by his widow. She has come to a deal with AEW whereby they can use Owen Hart and Owen Hart Foundation and sell T-shirts of his likeness. I mean, WWE don't have any contract or any rights over the Owen Hart name or his likeness. They definitely can't be showing WWE footage. So, when they show footage of Owen Hart, they are not showing him in WWE. But he did stuff in, Stampede and outside of WWE and New Japan. So they've got access to that footage. Kyle O'Reilly against Jungle Boy is what we've got next. But yeah, it's down to his widow giving AEW permission. Vape Ross Vape said New Japan is super protective of their talent in the US. It's never the dream matches. They're older legends in singles and a lot of tag matches. Do you see CM Punk beating Hangman? No. Matt said Forbidden Door is going to put Survivor Series in its place. The one night a year. James said, let's be real. The only reason AEW is doing the Owen Hart stuff is to give a massive FU to Vince and WWE because they can't do anything. Lister Jericho said the whole Owen Hart thing is weird. I wasn't crazy about it, but I don't mind them calling this the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. I feel like there's a big difference. If you call this the Owen Hart tournament, that's about him. The Owen Hart Foundation tournament obviously represents him, but it's more about the foundation that was set up in his memory. And I feel a bit more comfortable with this being the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. I think that is such a little thing that makes a big difference. I feel a lot more comfortable with it, with this being the Owen Hart Foundation tournament rather than the Owen Hart tournament. So it's just a little thing. I mean, we don't know, if Owen hadn't tragically passed away, we don't know how he would feel about AEW, which is what makes me a bit like, for him to have no previous kind of relationship with this company, to my knowledge, no relationship with Tony Khan, no relationship with Kenny Omega or the Bucks, or, no relationship. I mean, the only person he might have had a relationship or people would have been anyone that was around in WWE at the time, like maybe a Jericho or a Dustin Rhodes. And I'm sure he would have loved AEW. I'm not knocking that. But, yeah, it has always just sat a bit uncomfortably with me. But that's why the Owen Hart Foundation tournament, I think, is a much, much, much better way of wording it. Much better way of wording it. And on the entrance stage at the moment, you can see Owen Hart Foundation on the screen in the center. The screens say Owen Hart Foundation Tournament Qualifier. Against the ropes goes Jungle Boy, duck underneath. Jungle Boy jumping over the top of Kyle O'Reilly. Drop kick by Jungle Boy. James said, the hate I got on Twitter for saying the same thing was funny. That's Twitter. Do you know what I mean? You can pretty much make any statement on Twitter and you'll end up getting hate for it, so. Jungle Boy, forearm strike. Are you doing a show for boxing on Saturday? Yes. Yes. In fact, I was just working on the thumbnails and everything for it, so I have the thumbnail done. Fury versus White. So I will try and set that up as soon as I can. Fury against White, and then UFC straight after on Saturday. Quick question, guys. Who is your favourite superstar theme? Asks Camille. I need an Owen Hart thing explained. Surely an Owen Hart Foundation should come from WWE. I don't understand why another company sets it up where he didn't wrestle. They haven't set it up. His widow set it up. So, I think she successfully sued WWE and used part of that money to set up this foundation. I don't actually know what the foundation does, but I'm sure it's, incredible things. And I'm sure it's helped lots and lots of people. I mean, it's all a positive thing. But it's the widow that set it up. It's not AEW that set it up. It's the widow. So she doesn't want anything to do with WWE. She doesn't want to allow him into their Hall of Fame. That's why he's not in the Hall of Fame. She just doesn't want anything to do with them, which you can understand because of, how he passed away. So you can definitely understand that. So she set that foundation up, and now she's the one that's working with AEW and allowing them to use his image and the Owen Hart Foundation. Using that allows them to get if you look at the way that it's done, it says like Owen Hart, and then it's got like Foundation written. It's like the Owen Hart tournament, but it is the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. It's just Foundation is written quite small. I don't mind any of that, to be honest. I don't mind it. I think, as I said, for me, my biggest problem was if it was going to be the Owen Hart tournament, then I would be like, don't know. You're naming it after someone, and I just don't know if he would want that. Chances are he would. But I don't know that he would. Strikes coming in by Kyle O'Reilly. Wrestling with Andy said, hopefully AEW get to use Owen Hart footage from New Japan now that they're working with them. He was a junior heavyweight at one point. Haven't they been using some? I feel like they showed him in New Japan. Maybe not. I mean, maybe it was like Stampede footage. Kyle O'Reilly pacing around. Owen's wife won a wrongful death suit against WWE. They are doing right by her and Brett. Then it's none of my business. It's their name, says Master Chief. I didn't realise Owen's widow signed a contract with AEW. Sorry if that was a bad question. No, not a bad question at all. Not a bad question at all. Is the tournament an underhanded jab to WWE? I mean, like, there's different ways of looking at it. But I think the one way to look at it is that the Owen Hart Foundation is going to benefit by having this exposure. And she doesn't want to work with WWE, which you can absolutely understand. You can absolutely understand why. So if you're not going to work with the biggest company, you'd go to the second biggest, wouldn't you? And, you know, AEW has really established itself as that right now. And it prides itself more on the in-ring, which is very much in line with, you know, Owen and just how great he was as a technical wrestler. So it feels like a natural fit. And as I said, I'm sure he would be very supportive of AEW if he was still around. Down goes O'Reilly. Back elbow again by Jungle Boy. So you can look at it as, it's a knock to WWE, but I think equally it is great exposure for this foundation. And a way of just making sure that Owen's name is kept in the conversation. And, you know, I mean, WWE can't talk about him. He's never mentioned. So how do you keep him relevant to the kids that are coming through and just getting into wrestling now? You know, how do you get people talking about Owen Hart? Not just about how he passed away, of course, but about how great he was. You know, Owen Hart was, you know, doing stuff that, I mean, he was really inspirational. All the Harts really were. I mean, they had their own promotion. Their dad had their own promotion. So you've got these kids that just grew up with wrestling, pro wrestling, and just literally dedicated themselves to trying to be the best in-ring competitors they could. And, you know, were learning from each other. And I should imagine it was a very exciting, very vibrant time where our brothers are like constantly trying to outdo each other. I mean, that Hart family's massive. So, I mean, you've got Owen, the youngest, trying to, find his own way forward and find his own 2 feet. And such an exciting, vibrant time. They were really, think of the talent that came out of Stampedes. I mean, Davey Boy and Dynamite Kid came through there as well. Pump handle by Kyle O'Reilly. The Stampede footage used to be on WWE Network, and then it got taken down because I think Brett owns it. I certainly remember Stampede going on the network. I never got a chance to watch any of it, which is a shame. I think there could be some really awesome stuff there, and it's such a shame that if Brett does own it, it's just sort of sat on it. Because to my knowledge, I don't know where it is. I mean, I really don't know how you can watch it. Unless it's now been added back on, I don't know. Kick coming in by Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle charging over. Lovely. Suplex there, belly to belly by Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy in the corner. Last time I recall Owen being mentioned in WWE was Mark Henry's Hall of Fame induction, pleading with Martha to let Owen be inducted. Yeah, I mean, I can see both sides. I remember the Dark Side of the Ring episodes, people saying, look, conversation's over. Like, when you heard her explain why she didn't want him in that WWE Hall of Fame, like, it was very difficult to argue with. You know, she blames them, understandably so, for taking her husband away and the father of her kids away and being negligent. And, you know, how's she ever going to forget? Why does she want them to ever benefit in any way? Like, they will advertise him going in the Hall of Fame, which will get extra viewers to tune into the Hall of Fame, and she just does not want to give them that promotion, give them that opportunity. She doesn't want... I don't think she wants the healing, like, in that relationship. She has pushed WWE away, and I don't think that's a bridge that's going to ever be rebuilt. Certainly not while she's in charge. I don't know if the kids will grow up and have a different opinion or have a bit more forgiveness, or I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? You know, when she passes away, that responsibility of him going in will fall, I think, to the kids. They might be exactly the same. They could have the same opinion and you could understand it. Will he go in one day? It's hard to say, isn't it? I think the further we move away from it, you know, 100 years' time, who can say? 100 years' time. Snare trap is applied by Jungle Boy. Kyle O'Reilly crawling his way over and gets to the ropes. Her plan is to push the Owen Hart Foundation and everything about it higher than him being in the Hall of Fame would ever do, says Shoggoth. Brett wants Owen in the Hall of Fame, said James. Owen was really ahead of his time. He could have been great during the SmackDown 6 era or even today. Carrying on the pay-per-view was disgusting, says Luke. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's something they would do now. I mean, that is something they did in the heat of the moment. 1, 2. Suplex by Kyle O'Reilly. Why can't Owen go in the Hall of Fame with no ceremony or no mention on the network and no benefit to WWE, just low key? I don't even know if they've been able to have that conversation, to be honest. I don't know if that's something that's, you know, if they could just announce that he's in. He's in. The ring has been sent to the family. I don't know. I mean, the whole thing. Could you imagine the ring being sent to the family? I mean, he's not there to wear it, is he? It's just... She just doesn't want it. She just doesn't want that relationship. And again, can't blame her. As I can only speak as a fan, and as a fan, I would like him to go in because he absolutely deserves to go in. And I feel like the WWE Hall of Fame is seen amongst fans as being quite a big deal. So I think a lot of us want him to go in for him because it feels like the biggest Hall of Fame you could get. Like if you go into the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame, I don't know that people would even like notice. He might even be in it. I don't even know. But I think it feels like a big deal if you go in the WWE one. We're backstage with MJF. How can a man so proudly say that he is a snake? Jake the Snake. I wish they did this a little bit different. No. I think that's a shame, man. I think there's so much wrong with that. That is a bit of a low in the show for me, because you've got MJF, who's just introduced Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake is someone that, I mean, as a human is awful, but there's a lot of respect for him. And if you remember how they used to do the old promos, you can hear the crowd in the background. That needed to not be there. And we needed to be in a different location. A locker room would have been quite good. Jake the Snake coming in, and then, a real close-up. Do you remember those close-ups they used to do of Jake the Snake, where his face would kind of largely fill the screen? The way that he talks, he doesn't have that kind of depth to his voice. His register is a bit higher, and it doesn't have the depth to it. So you can't quite always hear what he's saying. Having the crowd mumbling in the background, not having the camera close up on him, I think these are little things that I would change. And then not only have you got that, but then whilst he's talking and you're trying to hear what he's saying, and he's saying something interesting about how he always chases money. He's like, this is what it's about for me. This is what it's always been about. Lance Archer just comes in, knocks the money down, and said, "Just give me Wardlow." It's like, no, I wouldn't have done any of that. I think, basically, Lance Archer just basically undercut Jake the Snake there. Jake the Snake was cutting, an interesting promo, talking about how he chases money, and Lance Archer's just come in, knocked the envelope out of his hand, and says, "Give me Wardlow. I'm not interested in the money." It's just completely took the legs out from Jake the Snake. What's the point in having Jake the Snake as Lance Archer's manager if you're just going to completely cut the legs out from underneath him? And he's done that time after time after time, in all fairness. He's done that quite a few times. I think they're trying to get Lance Archer across as this kind of unhinged kind of guy. But if you're going to do that, then have a feeble, weak manager. Have a feeble manager that's all a bit uncertain and everything. Not Jake the Snake. Danhausen has come out and puts on submission holds, and Hook gets the win. Danhausen in the ring. If you won't be cursed by Danhausen, then you will fight Danhausen. Hook barges into him, walks past. Hook walking away. So job done by Hook. Right, we're backstage with Frankie Kazarian. Scorpio Sky's here. None of it would be possible if it wasn't for you. I need one more favor. I need you to wait. You will get the first shot. I've always had you back and I always will. So he's going to allow Scorpio Sky to challenge Sammy. But he broke his leg in Ring of Honor before signed. I think he has got a month or two before he's ring ready, says Ron. Who do you think is going to work the lumberjack match between Drew and Sammy? Probably just quite a few low-level talent. I mean, I don't expect Roman out there. But the Usos could go out, in all fairness. Tag teams will probably go out. Low-level talent. I mean, in fairness, I mean, outside of Roman, who else is there that you wouldn't really expect to see out there? I mean, Drew's in the match. Plus, Drew I could see going out if it was a lumberjack match. Yeah, I honestly, Boogs, maybe not Nakamura, just because I think he might be in a feud with or a program with Roman, but really outside of that, anyone. I can see anyone out there. Where is Orange Cassidy? Don't know, to be honest. Don't know. You suck on that pen every day, don't you? No, I have different pens. I've actually got a whole pack of these, and I constantly keep losing them. I write so many notes. I mean, these are all my MMA notes. I've got just notes that I've got. I've got more notes written here. I've got all my football streams. I've got my UFC notes. I mean, I've just, honestly, I get through notebook after notebook after notebook. The amount of, like, writing that I do, it is crazy. I mean, I've just got like random bits of... Look at this. Like, loads of different things that I've got around. Just random bits of paper. I've got paper absolutely everywhere. So I actually get through quite a few pens. And then I'm always like, you know, writing notes upstairs. So then I'll leave a pen up there. So I'm like, God, I need another pen. So I tend to have a few packs just in the corner. So I would say that no pen probably spends longer than 48 hours in this area. Orange Cassidy has got a big injury, says Shoggoff. That's why they dropped him from the Danhausen segments. Holloway fan, you should sell those notes to a charity auction. I use them. Every single week I use them. I've said this before, but I've got all my notes in here. These aren't all of them, actually. I've probably got this again with, like, notes. And then what I can do is, on my phone, I can go into a little note that I've got. And it says, if I would need notes on Brunson, turn to page 233. So I turn to page 233. That's page 233, and Brunson is there right at the top, Derek Brunson. So if I need to have a look at notes on Derek Brunson, I can find them like that. It's a great system that massively helps me. It saves me so much time. So, yeah, I always try and watch some old fights, but I also use my old notes as well. So if I sold them, that'd be a problem. Right, we've got Thunder Rosa cutting a promo. It's time to go double or nothing. Right, in the ring, we've got... Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti. Are they heels? Have they turned him heel? Yeah, they're heels. I don't even care if they are faces, they're heels to me. Is it Tay? Ty? Is that how you spell it? We deserve it. Yeah, heel. Be mad. Be mad. Who's coming out? Scorpio Sky. Is he a face now? What's going on? I can't stand Sammy and Ty. Gross. And yes, I'm jealous of them, said Retribution. Why are you mad? Because Ty Conti has got the personality of a paper bag. And I really like Sammy Guevara. So put in a paper bag with Sammy Guevara. It's just baggage, isn't it, really? It's just a dead weight he's got to carry around. I would say I have, like, this much respect for, like, Brandy Rhodes. And I probably have, like, that much respect for, like, Ty Conti. It's very close. Honestly. I don't think I've seen a single segment Ty Conti's been in that I've enjoyed. Ever. I used to watch her in NXT as well. You chose to throw that away. Give Sky his rematch. Sky will give you the kind of pounding that your girlfriend dreams about. Lol. He's good, isn't he? He's a decent promo at times. The only thing I would say about Lambert is some of his delivery can be a bit robotic. Sky can have it next week. Mixed tag match? Oh, does that mean it's going to be Paige Van Zandt? Mixed tag match. I like Sammy, though. I still like Sammy. Here's House of Black. Are you streaming Fury White? Yes. Yes. Right, we've got House of Black. We're moving into the final half an hour. Holloway fan said, Rob Van Dam and Too Cold Scorpio are the two best workers of all time, a.k.a. the EC Dub television champions. Malik said, this is so messed up. Why don't you like Brandy? I don't think that her matches are any good, and she constantly tries to get herself into the ring. It feels like she's constantly trying to force her way into things that she's just not qualified to be a part of. Like, I think that as a ring announcer, she did a really good job. I think as, coming down as, Cody's wife, I think that's, fine. But her trying to build her own factions and, get into having matches and, trying to do promo battles and all this kind of stuff, it just doesn't feel like that is right for her. I mean, if she wants to get into it, then get into it. But she's only ever seemingly dabbled in it. It's only ever been, it's like, yeah, I can do this. That's the attitude that comes across. Like, yeah, I can do this. I've seen Cody do it. I can do this. So, you know, I can do matches. I can have matches. I could go toe-to-toe with Dan Lambert. I just think that she's never committed herself to it. If she wants to be a wrestler, be a wrestler. Simple as that. Do you know what I mean? Don't half-arse it. Don't just, like, do a little bit here and a little bit there and expect the crowds to love you. So, yeah, I must admit, I think if she was to come out and go up against some jobbers and we could watch that improvement in the ring and she was going to be grinding. But, I mean, look, she's off doing reality shows. Now she's decided she wants to go and do a cooking show. Do you know what I mean? The girl's all over the place. She's all over the place. So, if she could, like, pick a lane and just, like, really focus on that and throw herself into that and, like, get good at that. I think it's one of them, isn't it? It's like being jack of all trades, but a master of none. Britt Baker in the ring against Danielle Kamela. You're breaking my heart. Here we go. Britsburg, that's awesome, says Larry. DMD signs in the crowds. Who are these two guys? I don't know who these guys are, by the way. She's come out with a couple of guys. Britt has decided to show up. Needs some Wiz Khalifa. Take down by Daniela. Or Danielle. Girls Gone Wild exposed? What the hell is that an advert for? That's a weird thing to be promoting right now during this women's match. Guys, are you enjoying this women's wrestling match? Well, on TNT, we've got a Girls Gone Wild documentary that you might be interested in. Picture in picture. They're the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh. They're two Pittsburgh Steelers. Britt is overhyped, says Dragon Den. Right, Britt Baker in the corner, trying to throw in some strikes to Danielle. Well, I'm guessing that must really get her over as a face then, or is it just a one-time thing? Is this like her hometown? Maybe it's like one time. Because that is a very face thing to do, isn't it? Come out with a couple of local sports stars. DMD back, and I love it, says Shaquem. Batman is already on streaming, and it was average garbage. I'm peeved that WWE is selling legit 420 Arcade Bro merch, but they took down Rob Van Dam back in the day. Pittsburgh is Britt's hometown. I wonder if she's a face then, or if this is just this week. Because she hasn't come out with Jamie Hayter or Reba. Oh, man. If they've split her apart from Reba, that's going to be a shame. I thought those two were great together, to be honest. Well, I don't think she's out there anyway. I didn't see her. I saw the two guys. Kicks coming in by Danielle. DMD chants. Channel name said fans shouldn't be turned off by Sammy. They should cheer him and boo Ty. Then yell, you can't trust her. They should start Ty is Ratchet chants. I remember when I first tuned into NXT when the network started here in the UK, which I think was 2015. I can remember Sasha still being NXT at that time. And there was Sasha is Ratchet chants, and I didn't have a clue what that meant. Or like why they were chanting it, because it's not a chant I'd ever heard on the main roster. Sasha's Ratchet. Sasha's Ratchet. It's gone away now. You never hear anyone chanting it anymore, but go back to 2015 and such and such Ratchet is Ratchet was a chant. We could bring that back. That was pretty fun back in the day. 2015 NXT. If you get a chance to sit down and watch it, I really recommend it. It was a brilliant time for NXT. Brilliant time. Days KO to OC. Your name is Orange. I'm Apple. OC to Kevin Owens. You're shaped like a pear. What does it mean? I think Ratchet is like Ratchet is kind of like, I don't want to look at the definition. I'll just tell you what I think it means. It means like dirty and I really can't find the word that I'm looking for. Cheap, dirty. Yeah, that kind of a thing. There's probably much better words to describe it, but cheap and dirty. Ratchet means badass. It means ghetto. Oh, it seems like people are all over the place here. It was being used as a diss at the time because she was a heel. Ratchets. I mean, I could look at the dictionary definition and it could be completely wrong because it was definitely like more of a slang thing. Yeah, it's going to need the Urban Dictionary. It can mean douche. It says basically a douchebag if you was in the ghetto. Stay away from these types of females. So there we go. Basically a douchebag. That's on Urban Dictionary. So, cheap. Right, Britt Baker's got the win. Easy win. I've got a feeling Jinder is going to attack Drew during the Lumberjack match, says Amin. Oh, here's Britt. Britt's cutting a promo. This AEW women's division is a disaster without me. Tony Storm. Okay, who's got my girl Jamie Hayter, so she definitely hasn't turned face. She's out of breath here. Jade Cargill called Pittsburgh ugly. The only people here tonight that want to see Jade Cargill are the ones that she gave free tickets to. God, she maybe needed a second just to get her breath before doing this promo. I don't see a big deal about the cake thing. It was a Thanksgiving-themed show. DMD, there we go. Go, Britt, bring some barbecue sauce to the roast. So, there we go. Right, we've got the Queen, the Professor. How long are we doing this? Ugh. Yeah, yes, please, let's finish this. I end this. I end you. End her. And make her humble. Make her humble, Serena Deeb. Philly street fight next week. I accept your challenge. Rampage, Adam Cole against Ishii in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Here we go. Lance Archer taking on Serpentico. We've got Daniel Garcia taking on Eddie Kingston. We've got Tony Schiavone interviews the women's tournament qualifiers. No, it's gone. We've got Jade Cargill taking on Marina Shafir on Rampage. We've got Serena Deeb taking on Hikaru Shida next week on AEW Dynamite in a Philly Street Fight. We've got Lance Archer taking on Wardlow next Wednesday. We've also got Dax Harwood taking on Cash Wheeler. What? We've got Sammy Guevara. There's no time to go back. Sammy Guevara against Scorpio. Sky in a ladder match. We've got Adam Cole, Young Bucks, Red Dragon taking on Dante Martin. That's not T-Bloods. Legit's gone. We've got coming up next. We've got Andrade against Darby Allin in a coffin match. That's next on AEW Dynamite. Oh my God. Did you catch a thing? Are FTR going up against each other? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Jesus, why the hell does that have to be so fast? Why does that have to be so quick? Could we not take some time off the CM Punk Dustin Rhodes match earlier to just let that breathe a little bit more? God, every week? At this point, it's just becoming a meme, isn't it, surely? At this point, it's just literally a part of the show that, like, they do that on purpose now. You know, like how on Rampage, you've got Mark Henry going, it's time for the main event. Like, and they do that every week. Now, I reckon they just do that little thing just for the memes, just for the lols. Is Dax Harwood going up against Cash Wheeler in the opening round of that tournament? I have not got a clue. And I could not have paid it any more attention if I tried. I have not got a clue. Let me have a look. AEW. Is it on there? AEW. No, Serena Deeb, Andrade. I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. We'll have to find out together. Whew. It has been a year since Darby had his coffin match with Ethan Page. Dave sent you, said, we missed halftime scores. Should we do 1 3/4 scores? Nah. It's past that as well. We've missed that. Haven't we? Haven't it? 1 3/4 scores. That would mean that we'd have to do the whole show. And then we would have to do an hour and a half after. So we're a long way from 1 3/4 scores. That went about as fast as the fine print that someone speed reads at the end of a radio commercial. Yeah, the terms and conditions. Yes. I wonder when AEW is going to be on streaming. Don't know. AEW comically fast match cards are like WWE commercial breaks. Without them, the show just is not the same, says Shotgun. That's true. That's true. We've got 15 minutes left to go. 15 minutes left to go. days, we got the Tribal Chief and Ronda Rousey back in SmackDown this Friday. Very good. I feel like it needs it. I think last week's SmackDown really suffered without Roman. Right. Main event time. Andrade in the ring as Darby Allin is making his way down. Here we go, Darby. Darby's here, no Sting. So, Darby Allin's made his way. It can't take too long unless there's going to be an overrun. I mean, he's very slowly making his way down. Should we not be like, do you know what I mean? Getting to this. It looks like a tiny place. Darby has creeps and he hates liars. Right, Darby getting into the ring. He looks at Andrade, who backs away. Right, bell sounds. Here we go. Darby over in the corner. Andrade. Who's that? Blade trying to get the skateboards. Darby flips over, hits Andrade with the skateboards. Driving the skateboard into the midsection. No DQ in this, so people coming in. Mark Quinn jumps in, starts beating up Darby Allin, and the Blade is in there as well. Darby pushes the skateboard out the way. And again, pushes it over to the corner. Kicks to the midsection by Andrade. 3 guys in the ring right now. Darby flops out. Where the hell have the Hardys been? I haven't seen him since Jeff's debut. Oh, they've been on a few times since. I mean, there's a chance they'll come down now to even these scores. Is there going to be someone in the coffin? Tries to drive Darby into the railing, and the railing bursts open. Darby is down. Andrade with that skateboard hits Darby with it. There's someone who had a sign, and it turns out that it was Sting. That's cool. Sting had a sign, and it said, "I'm here for Darby Allin," and he's like, "Yeah, yeah!" And they take the sign, rip it, and he takes off, I think, was it a Sting mask? To reveal that it was Sting. It's nice. Sting in a... Imagine if he was in the crowd and, like, Sting was just stood next to you. And you didn't even realise. You didn't even know. Mask over a mask. That was a horrible disguise. If this was WWE, they'd be telling you that those masks are available on WWE Shop right now. You can get, just by the chance, you could get your own Sting mask from WWE Shop right now. Strikes coming in by Sting. So why are we focusing on these? Why are we focusing on Sting again and Blades? I was going to say, let's get... This isn't even the match. I don't care about them brawling. The match is Andrade and Darby. Andrade has got Darby up on his shoulders. Andrade going into the steps. Sting is one dirty man throwing the trash everywhere. Sting in Nikes. Kick to the midsection. Mark Quinn is up. He gets handed a chair. Chair used across the back of Sting. Sting no-sells it. Chop to the midsection by Sting, and he pushes Mark Quinn onto the blade and Andrade. Low blow by Darby. Sting is going to launch himself off the top onto Andrade. Blades. Mark Quinn. We're going to picture-in-picture. Don't go anywhere. You never hit Sting with a chair. You sign your death sentence, says Rom. Sting destroying it like it's Starrcade 92. Sting back up and the crowd fired up. Where is Darby Allin? Oh, there he is. I didn't see him. He's grabbed Andrade. You still got it is the chant. This man is 80 years old. Right, Darby and Andrade, who have been relegated to an afterthought at the moment, heading back towards the ring. Andrade coming round. How's the figure game going? I am stepping it up. Oh, it completely stalled. I couldn't tell you the last new figure I bought. Haven't fallen out of love with them. It's just, unless I'm actually toy hunting them, I really don't like to buy them online. Just because a lot of my enjoyment comes from going to the shops, having a look around, and obviously, you know, we've always had a lot of fun with the toy hunts. So I think to just order them offline, it's never something I've done, and it never feels. I don't want to get into that habit of like doing that. It's great like to build your collection and everything, but for me personally, that's a bad habit I could really get into, and I've not gone into that habit. So yeah, stalled, as I just haven't been to the shops much in the past few years at all. It was super easy when I used to work in town. It was so easy, whereas now that I stream all the time, I mean, I just never go to town. I never go to the shops. Kick to the midsection as Darby gets thrown into the corner, into a chair that was set up in the corner. We've got 7 minutes left to go here. I'm referring to when Bryan Cranston went to Comic-Con in a Walter White mask. How do you feel about the big announcement? Did you enjoy it, or was it overhyped? I like the fact it wasn't ruined, but it was probably the announcement I was expecting of the options. I think having the New Japan guy there was great. I don't like the way it was done with Adam Cole doing it. I don't really understand why you would have the New Japan president come over and then Adam Cole just interrupts them all, and he's the one that announces it. Like, I don't know why you would. I don't get that. I really don't get it. I think the announcement itself is good. It's going to have people interested. I think there'll be a lot of speculation. I can see Cultaholic, What Culture, Wrestle Talk doing Dream, Forbidden Door matches. I mean, that's just easy content to make, isn't it? So I can see that being I can see it being a big topic of conversation amongst, like, wrestling fans. I've said before, I still stand by it. I don't know how much this is going to impact casual fans. I think people will tune into that show. But I feel like there's going to have to be a lot of video packages to explain who some of these people are. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's CM Punk against Ishii. Well, who's Ishii? Do you know what I mean? Half of that card, people are not going to know. Yes, if you watch New Japan, you're going to know. But I think it's a bit wrong to just presume that people know who these people are. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we need video packages. We need to know some history about New Japan. I think you need to do a bit of work here to kind of explain who these people are and why you should care about them and what they've achieved and how long they've been wrestling for. And Darby, what's inside the lid? Is it pin tacks or something? Strike there by Andrade. So, yeah, it's good. I think it'll be a good card. But I'm interested to see how they continue to build towards it. I would be doing video packages. And I'd be using Dynamite each week to announce a new match. Join us next week where another match will be announced for Forbidden Door. And then not only does that match get announced, but a video package comes with it. So if it is going to be Naito, this is Naito. And here's a video package all about him. Strikes to the midsection. There's, I don't know what that is. It's like a vent of some kind. It's like a grate that is looking to suplex him on. He picks him up and he throws him onto it. I don't know who he is. And shouldn't the big match include the other Adam, who's the champion? Maybe it's a sign that Hangman won't have the belt by then. Well, this Adam Cole Ishii match is just a taster on Rampage. So it's not that's not the main event of Forbidden Door. It's nothing to, well, I can't say it's nothing to do with Forbidden Door, but it is actually on Rampage. That's not on. There's no matches announced for Forbidden Door yet. So, you know, look, using New Japan talent in AEW is not the worst idea, because now you can get Ishii over with the crowds, and, you know, they'll know Suzuki, they'll know Ishii, they'll know Kenta, because he's been on the show before. Trying to think who else we've seen. We've never seen Naito, we've never seen Okada, we've never seen Takahashi, we've never seen Tanahashi, we've never seen Gorillas of Destiny. I would say those are big. We've never seen Kota Ibushi, we've never seen Will Ospreay. So there's some big names that you've got to introduce to this AEW crowd. Good chunk of them will be aware of New Japan. But again, a good chunk of them won't. There's a lot of people that have got into this show, like, since it started. A lot of the kids and whatever, they ain't watching New Japan. And there's no problem if you don't. There's absolutely no problem whatsoever. I mean, it's not an easy thing to watch. Suicide dive by Darby, and he collides into Andrade. Darby looks like he just came from performing a magic show. Kota Ibushi was in the CWC. He was, yes, he was. Dave sent you, said, I don't know anyone in New Japan, so it doesn't really do anything for me, so I'm going to skip the pay-per-view. Well, I can understand that, but I think it will be a very good pay-per-view. The match quality should be really high. And again, depending on the card, back body drop onto that lid of pins, and the casket is broken, actually, look. Darby has got the win. Darby gets the win. Andrade is inside the casket. Darby wins. Who was that? I have no idea. Some dude came out, took his top off, got backdropped onto the lid of the casket that had pin tacks on the inside. Sting grabs Darby, helps him up. Jade Cargill against Marina Shafir on Rampage. Next week, it's a ladder match. I don't remember that being announced. Ladder match, TNT Championship, Sammy against Scorpio Sky. Here's the Hardys. Why have they come out? Why have they come out doing the delete thing? What are they doing? Jeff seems to be in discomfort. Did he pull his arm by doing it? Like, he seems to have thrown his shoulder out. Okay, pretty wild. Right, get in your full-time scores. Get in your full-time scores. What did you think of that show? What did you score AEW Dynamite? What did you score AEW Dynamite? 8 to 10. 7 to 7.5. 6 to 6.75. 5.75 or below. We'll see what people score it. Liz Jericho said 6.5. Red Payne says 8. Nadia says 9. Matt said 8.5. Larry says 7. Mass Chief says 7.25. Lee says 7. Ron says 7.5. Rashawn says 7. Lee said 5.5. Burn It Down says 4. Sambalissimo says 2. Tahil says 7.5. Nadia says 9. Heather says 7.5. 1987 Big Fan says 5. Austin says 7. Hayden says 7. Jaden said 6.75 for me. 7.5 because I'm excited for Forbidden Door. Almighty Nick says 6.69. Dylan says 7. Shakeem said 6.25. Raish Mine says 7.5. Jay says 7.25. I'm trying to think of what matches would push this to like that 7 mark. I mean, Andrade against Darby I thought was all right. CM Punk Dustin I didn't think was very good. Britt Baker was a squash win. Jungle Boy Kyle O'Reilly sort of passed me by. Wardlow was a bit of a squash. I feel like Blackpool Combat Club was not a bad match. But I feel like the matches were lacking here. I think the announcement's done a lot of heavy lifting. I'm going to give it a 6.5. I don't think there was really anything that was like necessarily bad. I must say, though, that first match felt like it dragged. I feel like the first match felt like it dragged. The CM Punk Dustin Rhodes one. Felt a bit slow, a bit clunky in places. Other matches were... It was all right. It was all right. I don't think there was anything outside of the announcement that really blew my mind. But it is a big announcement, and I can understand why we're around that kind of 7 mark. But for me, I'm going to say it just settles just below. But still a respectable 6.5. And yeah, I do think some of the matches they've announced for the next few weeks look quite good, though. Ladder match should be fun. I still don't know if Dax is taking on Cash Wheeler in a one-on-one match, to be honest. I still don't know. If it is, I mean, that could be very interesting. It's a bit moody putting FTR up against each other, but it's guaranteed to be a barn burner if that's the match they're doing. Hayden said, I agree, 6.5 is fair. Hayden said 6.5 makes it above average days. That is fair enough. I would say XX since, as usual, I don't actually have TNT. Dylan says 6.5. Yeah, I mean, I thought this was all right. I was pretty entertained throughout the 2 hours. I thought it was pretty solid. The announcement's great. And I like some of the stuff they've announced for Rampage and for next week's show. They are in the tournament match. Wardlow Butcher was overhyped, said Zoom Station. Adam Cole against Jay White. It's Adam Cole against Ishii on Friday. I don't think Jay White... Jay White, I didn't really get the Jay White thing when he came out. He sort of hinted at Undisputed Elite taking on Bullet Club. I sort of got the vibe there was a hint there that that match could be on the horizon, but I don't know 100%. Jane said, I agree, to be fair. I think it was about 6.5, but the announcement took it up for me. Larry gives it a 7. Philip said, what do you think Cody maybe brings the Eagle belt back? I'd love him to do that, but if Vince doesn't want to go that way, we won't go that way. So I think Cody will just want to win that belt. I don't know that he's going to have enough pull to be able to change the title to something that looks more credible. If he does, I mean, it'd be amazing, because I think a lot of people would like to see those belts changed to something a bit more detailed, something that maybe feels a bit more prestigious than what they do at the moment. But I don't know if he's going to have that power, to be honest. Do you think they had Dustin versus CM Punk open the show because WWE had Cody open Raw? I don't think so. I think you could kind of read into things a bit. You could drive yourself crazy if you're going to read into things like on that kind of a level. I think that they didn't want to open with the announcement because, as I said before, I don't know why they made the Ring of Honor announcement right at the start of the show last time, because it really feels like this is definitely something people are tuning in for. And actually, I can tell you that even on this stream, we've got a nice build on the stream, and then as soon as the announcement happens, there's a dip off. So I think people do tune in for the announcement, and then I think that as soon as the announcement was made, there was, on the stream, live viewers, a dip once the announcement had been made, and you can actually see where that dip is. So I think that they did a much better job this time of delaying the announcement, getting people to watch some of the show. You need something hot to start the show. You could have started with Blackpool Combat Club, in all fairness. That would have been a perfectly fine opener. But equally, you could have started with CM Punk. I mean, CM Punk coming out is still huge in it. Still huge. So, coin toss. You could have started with Blackpool Combat Club and Moxley walking through the crowds and all that kind of stuff. Or started with the CM Punk thing. And they decided to start with the CM Punk thing. I don't know that it's like, well, they're starting with Cody, so let's start with Dustin. I don't think that played a part. They should have told us more matches on the Super Show. I don't know that they know those matches, to be honest. I mean, maybe they do, but I did say after the Ring of Honor announcement that I wanted them to give us more information, because that was something we was expecting. He's going to say he's bought Ring of Honor. He did, and I felt like I was just being told something I already knew, and I wanted a bit more. And I didn't feel that in that announcement that I got really enough information. With this announcement, I think they did give you more, because not only do you know there's going to be a Super Show, you know when it's happening, where it's happening, and you know the name of it. Could you imagine if Tony Khan had just come out and said the announcement is that we are going to do a Super Show with New Japan? Talks, it's done. I've been in talks with them. We are going to have details coming out, but there is a pay-per-view on the way. AEW, New Japan, it's coming, it's happening. And then the crowd going, yes, 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 yes. Like, he could have just announced that and then, walked off type thing. But the fact is, they've got a date, they've got a venue, they've got the name. So I feel like they did give us a little bit more this time. But match-wise, they might not know what those matches are going to be. Junior said, I am going to give it a 7.5. Goncast said Danielson against the Carter. That was I think Heather mentioned earlier, a match that they could do. Yes, they could do that. Jay said, what's your Fury White prediction? I think White's a good fighter, but you can hit him. And I think that if Tyson Fury hits him, it's going to be big, big trouble. So I think it might take the first few rounds to settle down, but I could see there being a finish, and I can see it being a win for Fury. Big Up Days, could AEW have done better tonight? Sure. But then they could have done better on all of their previous shows, and I would say WWE could have done better on all of their previous shows. I mean, is there such a thing as a 10 out of 10 show? So could they have done better tonight? Absolutely. But I still think it was a solid show tonight. Just like how WWE could have done better on Monday, could have done better on Friday, could have done better at WrestleMania, could have done, do you know what I mean? Like, is there a perfect wrestling show? I bet the show is going to be better than the last WrestleMania, says Junior. Do you think Kenny Omega will return on the AEW New Japan pay-per-view? I don't know if he returns on it, but I bet he's on it. Whether he returns on it as a mystery opponent to someone, or whether he comes back before and is part of the builds, I think he's almost certain to be on that card, yes. How is he not going to be on that card? Unless his injury is going to keep him out now for a long time and he misses it that way, I don't know. I can't say I've heard that he's got an injury that's going to keep him out. I don't know where we are. I don't know where we are with him, actually. I don't know. I think so too. Fury by TKO, says Jay. We've got a few more minutes to go. We might as well end the poll. Let's end the poll. Boom. Junior said it's going to be epic. Legend Killer, shout out to you. I always like to try and stick around till about 15:15, so we'll do a couple more minutes and then we'll wrap it up. Ravi said the Darby main event was good. Edward said White isn't going to be an easy fight for Fury. Like, seriously, it's not. Shaquem said he's out for the year. Oh, okay. Wow. I still think he'll be on the show, but maybe just not competing then. But if he's out, then I still think he's on the show. I can't imagine them doing that show without him. He was such a big part of New Japan, and he's such a big part of AEW that he, you'd have him as special timekeeper or something. Like, I really think he needs to be on that show. Fury is retiring after this fight. I did hear that, yes. Malik said, do you know what I think? I think this new Super Show that's coming up, I don't think is all about New Japan. It's probably going to be all promotions, including Ring of Honor and Impact. Well, they haven't announced that. So I can only go by what's being announced at the moment. So Ring of Honor could get involved. It's not really a forbidden door now, though, is it? Do you think Cody will beat Roman for the title? I think so. I think he will get the belt. And there's rumours that he might be winning Money in the Bank this year, but I've not seen that. That's far from confirmed. So, yeah. I mean, he's clearly working his way towards the title. So, whether he's the one to beat Roman, I'm not sure. Right now, I'd say yes. But I think he will be getting his hands on the belt at some point, yes. You could do a New Japan World Champion versus AEW World Champion. And Okada versus Punk. If Omega is out. That'd be good. Maybe Kushida will be there. Maybe. We don't know where Kushida's going, but that show would feel like a magnet for Kushida. Absolutely. Philip said, do you want to see Bray return to WWE or move on? I would rather see him move on. We've spoken at length about this. I think that when he was there, it didn't work because there was some great stuff that he did, but clearly there was a disagreement about creativity and the direction, and the end result is that Vince ended up letting him go. I mean, Vince is all about making money, so why would you let go one of your biggest merch sellers? I mean, it does not make sense. That's all Vince cares about, is making money. And I think that really goes some way to showing how far their relationship had fallen and how far apart they were. So the idea of them going back to WWE just doesn't make much sense to me. unless that relationship is repaired. But even when it's repaired, there needs to be some kind of agreement in place whereby you've got the freedom to do what you want to do, or do you know what I mean? Like, what they were doing before didn't work. It wasn't working because you just weren't seeing him towards the end. And, you know, I think there was a big falling out with Vince and everything. So I think it would probably be better for him to go somewhere else and get that freedom. If he can get that freedom in WWE, then he could go back to WWE. But I don't know. Their relationship seems to not be in a great place, to be perfectly truthful. So that's why I think it's probably better that he goes and builds, you know, his legacy, or continues to build on his legacy elsewhere. So AEW would make the most sense, but the last we heard is that he is asking for a lot of money. Big Guy said Vince won't give him that. That's part of the issue, isn't it? I mean, if Vince wants to have control, then I don't think Fiend fans and Bray fans are ever going to be satisfied, because it will never be Bray's vision. It will be Bray's vision through the filter that is Vince McMahon. And that's always going to be a problem, isn't it? How could Vince not like The Fiend? What a jackass, says channel name. John said, maybe Bray Windham will show up in Chicago. Jaden said, I would like to see Cross join House of Black. James says, Punk versus Kenta. That's interesting. Shaquem said, next week he gets to go big. Right. I think we're pretty much done. I think we are done. We've got to the 15-minute mark. John said, maybe Goldust will go back to WWE as the player to be named later in a Jeff Hardy AEW trade. Austin says, I wouldn't mind him going back to WWE. Edward said, if Fury wins, what will happen with the WCBC belt? Well, it'll be vacated, wouldn't it? And then they'll find a couple of people to challenge for it. I mean, that's happened all throughout the history of boxing, where champions vacate their titles. Right, we're done. Awesome. Appreciate the support. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Thanks to everyone that's joined. And interesting getting people's thoughts on that announcement. And we'll see where it goes. As I said, I think it'd be good if we found out a different match that's going to be on that card each week. I think that could be fun. I don't know that we're going to get that, to be honest. I don't know if that's where we're heading with this, or if they're just going to announce it all in one go, or it'll be interesting to find out. I mean, will they announce some stuff on New Japan? Will they announce some stuff through AEW? I don't know. I don't know. So it'll be interesting to find out, like, as we said, the builds and how are they going to, like, there's probably New Japan people, New Japan fans that don't watch AEW, and there's definitely AEW fans that won't be watching New Japan. So how are they going to introduce the other companies' stars? And will there be, like, invasions as we get closer to this pay-per-view? Like, on that go-home, I can absolutely see New Japan invading and beating up the AEW locker room. So I think the build for this is going to be really interesting. Really interesting. So we'll see. Right. Awesome, guys. Appreciate the support. Hope you enjoyed the stream. We are back next week for AEW. Obviously, we'll be keeping an eye on Rampage on Friday. But next stream on this channel will be Friday for SmackDown and Rampage. Awesome. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now.